Good morning and hello. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here. It's a beautiful country. Surf, sand, skateboards.
Samba.
And I also have to say thanks to Paul, who made our trip from Rio to the seat of industry in São Paulo very smooth. It's a transaction that I made online from San Francisco, which is where we're from. It was without incident. And when I arrived at the airport and I needed help, there was somebody there to help me, to make my flight, to treat me as a VIP, somebody who spent a lot of money on that ticket to get here. So thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate that. And Cole, you're doing a great job. So Netpop has been working with Google since 2009 on a wonderful research study, and I want to just jump right into it. In 2013, we studied new car buyers, used car buyers, and purchasers of after-sales market products and services. These are people who bought tires, service for the car, and also accessories. Today, we're focusing on the 826 interviews we conducted in Brazil with people who use the internet, who are decision makers of the purchase, and have purchased a car in the last 12 months. Google has all of the research that we've conducted, and they're happy to share all of the details with you today. Our interest today is sharing with you the story, the highlights of all of that research.
So let's put us in the shoes of our car buyers. What are their lives like? Like us, they are very busy. They're managing jobs. They are managing their schedules, their busy calendars. They have relationships to manage. They have spouses. They might have kids. Their lives are very, very busy. And added on top of that busyness has been the increase in information and communication over the last 5 to 10 years. Information and communication is moving at a much, much faster pace. It makes their lives a juggle. They are juggling a lot, just as you are. And one of the key reasons for this, and this has been referenced earlier in other talks, is that the growth of the internet in Brazil has been made extraordinarily strong over the last few years. We started this study, as Josh mentioned, in 2009. So we will just use 2009 to 2013 as our basis of comparison. The internet now is at 52%. Half of the internet population in Brazil is online. That information, the communication that's available to them, is growing exponentially.
And not only is the internet and connectivity increasing throughout the country. Oh, and I will take a quick moment to say that I don't know Portuguese. I'm sure that many of you know English as well as I. If not, though, feel free, please, to use the translation services that Google's providing. They've worked with us a lot, so they're prepared to translate in real time for everybody. Anyway, excuse that. Along with the internet, the growth of mobile connectivity has increased, almost 600% since 2009. So a quarter of the entire population now has one of these, right? How many of you have one of these in your pocket, a little smartphone? How many? Come on, show of hands, show of hands. 100%, maybe 90%. Everybody has one of these, okay? How many of you guys have received a text since you've been here? Hands? Yeah, right? 60% of you received a text? How many of you checked email? Right. So everybody is connected all of the time. And with that wonderful convenience that we have in our pockets also comes a responsibility. It comes a responsibility to be there, to answer those texts, to respond to the email you just got from your boss, to just pick up and go if your child is sick at school. And you're juggling because of all of this connection. Along with this connection that you have as a business person, as a company, it's important to understand that your consumers, the people who care about your products, are always looking to get their information answered quickly and thoroughly. Oops. So how does that correspond to online, that online connectivity and smartphone access to auto research? Well, to me, this is a very interesting slide. In 2009, of the same population that we studied in 2013, 71% used internet sources to research their automobile purchase. That's a lot of people. Today, virtually everybody is using online sources to conduct their automobile research. This is important because not only is it more people, it's top of mind. This is where people are going to find the information that's available for them, the way they want it, the speed with which they want it. I think Paul mentioned that visits to the dealership were the place to go back when his father was buying a car. Today, it's too hard to get to a dealership. That traffic is just killer. I mean, who wants to go to a dealer? You want to go online and find that information that the dealer once provided to the prospect and the customers that came in their doors.
Search engines have also grown in importance. We see that it is up to 88% now of car buyers are using search engines to research cars. And we know what search engines represent. They represent the ability for anyone, anytime, to type something in and get information instantaneously.
And not only are search engines considered a source, and we'll get to this later, a source that their people are using, it's also a gateway to all of the other sites online that you're in charge of. The manufacturer sites, the third-party review sites, many different sites that are available online. The gateway is through a search engine. And as you saw in our quick little video, eye candy, 9 in 10 are using Google around the world. And in Brazil, Google is also a leading search engine. So along with the growth of the internet, mobile connectivity, bandwidth has increased. The speed with which bits are being sent to people, and this enables video. Online video has grown 56% since 2009 to 2013. 6 in 10 people are using online auto video during their research process.
Okay, so let's go back and let's take a more specific look at our new car buyers. Who are they? First point we need to make is that they are young. Average age of 33. In the United States, the average age is 40. They are young. They're young also relative to other nations around the world. We studied 22 countries, and we can compare Brazil to other countries. They definitely skew younger. They are also more equally male and female than any other country. It is normal, and normally we see a ratio of about 60% male new car buyers, 40% female. In Brazil, it's even, 51%, 49% male-female. It's very exciting. They're affluent, not surprising. And very importantly for this conversation, they are wired. They are extremely connected. Virtually everybody has a desktop or laptop. They have smartphones and they have tablets. These numbers are higher than the other countries that we studied. Your buyers are young, they are connected. They live very dynamic lives.
They live online.
So, why do they buy a car? Aside from the fact that, they have an old car and it needs to be replaced, what are the top triggers for purchasing a car in Brazil? The top one for Brazil is a good financing opportunity. There must be good deals out there because they are looking to jump on them. The second reason, top reason in Brazil, is that they want the latest features. There is something about a car that they want for their lives, and they're going to get it. And the last, and interestingly for Brazil, is a new job. 23% say that they were motivated to buy a car because they got a new job. Now think about what a new job represents for someone's identity, and think about what a car represents for their identity. They're building a life, new job. They want that new car to match that. Now there's a fourth reason that we looked at globally that's also important. It comes next on Brazil. It's not on the slide. 21% say fuel efficiency. Fuel efficiency is less important in Brazil than these other factors. That's probably changing. It's grown from 17% in 2009. But there you have the top 3 reasons.
So our new car buyer enters the market. 13% of the new car buyers know nothing about the make or type of car that they're interested in buying. 13%, no idea. 35% know the make, whether they're interested in a Fiat or a Chevrolet or a Citroen, but they don't know whether it's going to be a 2-door, a 4-door, or an SUV. 12% know that they really want that convertible. Man, Rio in a convertible, can't beat it. So, and then 24% have some idea of a combination of these that they're looking to buy. So it's important to recognize that only 16% of the buying population knows the exact make and type that they're going to buy.
And this is lower than other countries. You have fresh car buyers. They really are entering the market with open minds.
So when they enter this market, they are bombarded with a more competitive landscape of brands vying for their attention. As Paul said, there are 99 manufacturers now present in Brazil. They are all going after the buyer. Through this haze of message that the consumers are receiving out there, your buyers are considering 4.6 brands. They're whittling it down and saying, these are the brands and the types that I'm going to be looking after. I'm going to look to decide on which one. That's higher, by the way, than most other countries. So they're more open-minded. They're more apt to be competitively shopping around to make sure that this exciting decision goes right for them.
We also want to point out that they're also more likely to be first-time car buyers. 13%, still a minority, but in the United States, only 2% say that they're buying a car for the first time. So you also have, that dream, you're buying your first car, you're more likely to be talking and relating to consumers on that level, and that's very exciting. Okay, so let's get more specific about how they purchase, how they decide the car that they want to buy. We heard earlier a wonderful point, which is that cars are a special purchase. They're an important purchase, and people may be spending years prior to the time that they can afford their first car deciding what that brand is that is right for them. So how do they discover new makes and types? We're going to look at that. How do they build that consideration set? Josh mentioned that 4.6. Call it 4 to 5 brands that they think is going to be one of those is going to be right for me. And finally, where do they go to get the information to make the final decision? We're going to look at each of those. Now, we measured a total of 37 types of sources. Everything from flyers that you get at the dealership to social sites, to video sites, to the salesperson at the dealership. Many, many sources. We wanted to measure all of them to see which ones were most important to people. The top 3 for discovering new makes and types of cars are friends and family, television, and search engines. It's an interesting mix, but they're actually very complementary if you think about it. Friends and family, you trust your friends. You want their opinion. You might look up to a friend or someone in your family, and they bought a certain brand of car. You want to know what that is, and you want to know why. Second is television. Now that makes sense, right? There was the reference earlier to the beautiful television commercials. It's a great way to have that emotive experience, to start to learn about the emotion, the soul of the brand. Television commercials give you that. Search engines. Search engines. Wow. Look at that, 71%. How long has television been around versus search engines? It's comparable. What do search engines give you? That ability to take the brand that you heard about from a friend or a family, or watch or learn about that brand on TV, and go and learn more about it on your own accord.
The surprise, search engines. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, not on the slide. Today, vying with television around the discovery of makes and models.
So we go to the next step, which is that consideration set. whittling down to a few brands that you're really going to focus on. The top 3 ways that people do this, still the same sources: friends and family, television, search engines. Now we get to the last one. What information to use to decide what to buy? There are 2 new sources that come up on this slide. The first is the auto manufacturer site there at the bottom. Now they want to go specifically to your site to find out more information about the cars that they want. The other one that comes up at this stage is on the top. The dealer, the store, the salesperson. They want to talk to that individual, that consultant, who can help verify that decision for them. They want to get to know that consultant, make sure that salesperson represents who they are because they're buying a brand and they want a relationship with your company, and that salesperson is the face of that relationship. Search engines are still on there. And Josh is going to explain a little bit more about search engines, because earlier, remember, we said that 88% use search engines. Why is it 56, and how did we get to 88?
So we have been working with Google since 2003, and we're very, very conscious of the way that we're presenting search engines to these other sources of information. We want to do it apples to apples, and this is what people say is a primary source of information. But we all know when we're going to a search engine, we're also trying to find different sources of information, that gateway. So when we ask people if you've used Google to find other sources of information, it turns out that this use increases to 88%, far outstripping the other sources that people are using to actually find that information.
So it's both a primary source, people consider it on par with television, but they also use it as a gateway to other sites. And we also know that your buyers are using an average of 6 online sources to make their decision. All right, now we have to talk about devices, right? We have to talk about mobile. We saw earlier that your buyers are very connected. They've got their smartphones, they have their tablets, they have computers. Of the owners of those devices, this is the percent that are using them to research cars. So if you own a smartphone, 62% are using them to buy cars. Among your tablet owners, 44% are using them to research cars. What about the share of time, though? Are they spending equal time across those devices? No. Predominantly still, the majority of time is spent on that desktop or laptop computer, and you can understand why. It's a bigger screen. This is a high consideration purchase. They need the rich information. They need that bigger screen. However, we do think that the trend towards smartphones and tablet research is going to increase as people become more comfortable and the information, the content on those devices become easier to use.
And why is that? Because we're all busy. This research is happening whenever and wherever people are, that they have a free moment of time. It's happening over about 3 months that they're, on average, making their purchase decision. And when they're on the road or waiting in line or in their commute, they might see an ad, they might have that 5 minutes, they're going to their smartphone, their tablet, and they're doing some research. They're doing it everywhere, whenever they can. So now they've done all of this research, and they're finally attempting to contact the manufacturer for 1 or 2 last questions. The 55% are reaching out to the Citroën, the Ford, the Fiat, your companies, to ask for that vital bit of information. It's like me going to the airline terminal and not knowing exactly how to check in, and being met by that beautiful attendant who says, "Oh, I can help you. Let me show you how." Perfect goal, presentation, perfect, wonderful.
Cute uniforms.
Great uniform. Loved it. I mean, really wonderful, made me feel like a VIP. People are looking for that when they're contacting you. They're doing it not only through telephone, they're doing it through email, they're doing it through web forms. They need to get it off when they have the opportunity, whether they're doing it from their smartphone or their laptop or computer. Unfortunately, 58% are receiving a bad response, either fair or poor response.
This is an important point because we asked people, this 58% in Brazil, who said they got a fair or poor response from the manufacturer that they reached out to. What was the impact of that? 52% said, I started to evaluate other manufacturers, and 22% said, I actually switched. I crossed that brand off my list. So it's important that if you set up these channels, and you must set up these channels of communication today, that you are there to respond to them in a way that's helpful, that is on time, and it actually happens at all, because some people say they never receive a response back, and that sets a bad impression.
And a complete answer as well.
So, the dealer. We haven't talked about the dealership visits, and those are still vitally important. People want to see their car. They want to touch the car. They want to test drive that car. Everyone goes to the dealer. But today, they go later in the process. We asked people, when did you make that first dealer visit? And as you can see, we got a variety of answers. 1 in 4 don't go until about the middle of their research, and many don't go till the end. Why? Because they're doing all the research on the front end. And when we ask, well, why? What are you going to? Why? Because they want to avoid unnecessary dealer visits. They end up going to maybe 2 or 3 dealers. They don't want to spend a lot of time visiting your dealer because it is so much easier to get that information online, decide which brands they're really interested in, and then they're going to go talk to your salespeople, and they're going to see if there's a real fit for them.
So even when they go, 31% are still using their smartphone to do additional research, to find out whether there's a better price down the street, to compare brands. They're still in charge.
All right.
Finally, they ultimately make up their mind. Only 1/3 decide to stick with their initial first choice. Only 1/3 of the buyers decide to stay with what they've thought they were going to buy at the beginning. 2/3 are either switching to another brand in their initial consideration set, and 15% are discovering a new brand through their research, 95% of people are doing online. This is really...
and this is higher. This 15% is higher than other countries. And I would put that at being the young audience. You've got a young buyer. They're looking at a lot of different brands. They are open-minded. They're discovering new brands. They hadn't heard about you. They might hear about you when they're online. Yes,
very excited, very interested in making the right decision, and open-minded.
So they're also switching. So we do have...
So people who have purchased a previous brand are also switching. Why are they switching? And 52% are. Paul mentioned this earlier. There isn't as much brand loyalty as there used to be, and that's because there's more competition, and there are different types of cars with different features. And the reason why they are switching, 55% want the latest features to match their new job, to match their new lifestyle, to match their dreams.
Their needs. All right. The story doesn't end there. We know that Brazilians are very social. Orkut was a hit way back, off the charts. Now there are other social networks like Facebook that are really exciting. 3 in 4 of your buyers, 75%, are going out after they purchase your car and talking about it. What are they doing? They're recommending their brand. They are posting a review on a social site or a review site. 1/4 of them are contacting you to tell you they're unhappy. Whether it's good or it's bad, they're reaching out to you again after they purchase the car. The 75% recommendation, think about that. Your buyers can be your fans. They can be your evangelists. They can work for you. They can go out and sell you to their friends and family afterwards if you've done your job right. So let's go back to our buyer. They've got a lot to juggle, and it's a big decision. Which brand are they going to buy? The point we are making here is that your buyers are now in the driver's seat. They have the information available to them. They have the means of communication to make this decision on their own. Your job is to be there at each of those steps in the process, not just to make them a buyer of your car, but to build a relationship with them. And if you build that relationship with them, They will support you after they buy the car, and they'll sell the car for you to other people by recommending it on all the social sites that are out there.
So this is an extremely exciting time for the auto market in Brazil. A disruptive technology has come into the marketplace, the internet. Consumers have formed brand new behaviors in the last generation. They're the ones who are coming in with this new economic strength that Brazil is expressing. They're the ones who are digitally connected, more so than most countries. It's amazing to see how quickly things have changed for this industry. For a very high consideration, high cost product that these individuals are evaluating. So what is the goal that we want to share with you today? It's not numbers, it's not icons. It really is the faces of the people who are falling in love with your brands. It's up to you to give them the information, to enable them, to bring them in and make them part of the family so that they can go out and enjoy your brand on the streets. Obrigado.
Thank you.